My guest today is the 16-year-old tap dancer Jody Markfield, who's currently touring in the hit show Funky Noise. Judy, before we hear some of our viewers' questions, tell us, what is tap dancing exactly?
Hi there. Yeah, in tap dancing, you wear special shoes with like pieces of metal in the bottom. So when you dance, you make a noise. You need a hard surface for tap dancing, and performers aren't regarded just as dancers, but also as musicians. We all work together with the guitarists and drummers to get the rhythm and the song right.
So, let's go to some of viewers' questions. Tina, who's 15 and comes from London, has emailed to ask, how did you get into tap dancing, Jody?
Well, I started at the age of 4. I come from a show business family. It was my grandmother who taught me the basics, but then my uncle kind of took over when I showed talent for it. He got me a part in a show when I was 6. My mom was not too sure, recounted I was a bit young, but he talked her and dad into the idea.
Next, Linda from Manchester says, Jody, tell us about the first time you appeared on TV.
Well, that first show, which was called Showtime, was at the theater, and I did that for 6 weeks. One night, a TV producer came to see the show. It was him who signed me up for the TV show Footnotes. It was easier than the theater, actually, um, because I didn't go out live. So if you made a mistake, you could go back and film that bit again.
Okay. Now, Mark from Scotland says, Jody, tell us about the origins of tap dance.
Well, tap dance, as we know, it became famous in the mid 10th century when it was in loads of big Hollywood films, but actually it was an American originally. It all started as a mixture of two much older types of dancing, an African dancing called Juba and traditional Irish dancing, something that's been popular again recently.
Right. Now, Ashley asks, are there different sorts of tap dancing?
Two main types. So you have to decide which one you are gonna do. Classical taps more like ballet and dancers use their arms a lot to make elegant movements. Hoving is the other type. Here, the dancers concentrate more on their legs and footwork. They really try to make their feet sound like drums.
Finally, Gary asks, how do you know if tap dancer is any good?
Well, Gary, that's a good question. Basically, the aim in tap dance is to produce clear sounds with each one separate. The knees and the ankles need to be relaxed at all times. Without that, it can sound all wrong. So that's how the dancer is judged, along with the speed, rhythm, and stuff.
And what about lessons, Jody? Lots of listeners have asked about that.
Well, tap classes generally last about an hour, beginning with a warm up to stretch the muscles. Lots of kinds do tap dance because it develops physical fitness and it's great for fun too. Uh, Beginners are sometimes told to dance as if the floor was made of glass. That makes them think about the position of their feet and not just stamp around any old way.
And what about equipment?
You need good shoes, of course. Some have heels, some don't. Both are quite comfortable. But The key thing is that they're the right size. They mustn't be big. Your feet shouldn't move around in them. So go for some that are quite tight fitting.
Thanks, Jody. Now, before you go, you're touring in the show Funky Noise. What's that like?
Life on the road sounds glamorous, but it's quite originally, really. I'll still have to do my homework because I'm still enrolled in high school in my hometown. But my parents travel with me and homeschools me.
How does that work out?
Well, mom does the English and dad the maths and science. The only thing they can't do is the ET. Um, I school them in that. And I still find time for my PlayStation games and watching TV.
Jody, thanks for joining us today.